Okay, very quick tutorial on how to plan a flight, Microsoft Simulator 2020. Most important thing, decide where you want to go. And if I bring up this, it's on Vatsim. You can go to SimAware, there's VatSpy, a few other things as well. And you can see where the current coverage is. So that's Europe, for example. So if we want to fly from, say, Gatwick to Dublin, go to SimBrief, and you want an airline with the flight number, SEIDW for Dublin, and the departure time in Zulu. So currently we're in local, so we're an hour ahead, so that would be actually 13:10, but in Z is 12:10. Choose your units and any reserve fuel you want. So typically I'd select 45, and the aircraft. A320neo for us. Tend to prefer cruise index of 25, cost index of 25. And it'll automatically generate departure runway, arrival runway and things, and initially give us a flight plan, which is replicated there. So in the sim, go to the world map, and we want to start off at EGKK. So pop that in for departure and zoom in to select your stand. If you're using something like Vatsim, go to this website, and you can zoom in at the top here to see what stands are available, what stands are taken. So then within Flight Sim you could match that up. So this is free apparently. So departure, and then arrival EIDW for Dublin International. If we're on Vatsim we don't need to assign a gate here, so we'll leave that as it is. And high altitude airways. Shortest journey we could argue at low altitude airways. So that's automatically generated, but it's not quite correct. So we now need to put in our SimBrief flight plan, as you can see here. So it's given us an INVU 1 Zulu departure, and on this page we can actually see if they are correct departures or not. So INVU 1 Zulu is what they've given us on SimBrief, and we can see it here on the Vatsim UK Gatwick page. Is it in the simulator though? It is. See current METAR, so you could get an idea. It looks like they'll be using 08. So we've got the IMVU departure put in, and then flicking back and forth from SimBrief, we can see that the next waypoint is Sam. So if we zoom in here, that's our IMVU departure. The next waypoint is Vuga. So in the sim, we search for Vuga and add that in. I should mention before we go any further, we look at SimBrief. Hide that, and we want to put in our arrival, which is Vatry 1 Romeo. And we want to put that into this departure arrival route here. So that's giving us a Vatry 1 Romeo for arrival runway of 10 and ILS 10 Romeo, and that builds the star here at Dublin. And then the rest of the flight bank gets built around that. We can delete these because they're not going to be correct. And you can see we've got to Vuga so far. Next on the route was Sam, which is Southampton Airport. So we type that in the box. And you can see it's not picking it up. So what we can do, show legend, open filters, scroll down to the bottom, navigation, and turn nav aids and fix our nav reports on, then close that tab. There's Bournemouth, there's Southampton. If we zoom in, we can see Sam there. So we click on that and click add. Next waypoint, further down south towards Bournemouth, it's Nulgu. We select that in the simulator, press add. And then Avgeek is our next route. Add, and then from there we turn north according to SimBrief. See if I can make things a bit easier. So Exmoor is our next waypoint. There it is, and we add, and then Keesup is our next one. Keesup, and then Swanee. So we go ahead and put both of those in. Keesup, add, Swanee. We build the whole flight plan doing this. As you can see there, Swansea, just to the left, right hand side. Next one is STU, all the way up at Fishguards in Wales. and then this happens. So we can see our next point is PEMOB, according to that. But on the charts, we want stew up to LANP. So this is where quite a bit of tinkering gets involved. I found it's easiest to clear this, clear the arrival, delete all of this, and then from stew it was LANPI, LANPI. Followed by TIBGA. Then Vatsim, which was the start of our star. So we've got TIBGA, and then if we click in the Vatsim, okay, there we go, Vatsim 1R for 10 right. It then does this, which is an absolute mess. Everything here is good so far, it just doesn't like these 3 waypoints. So you then have to tinker. So I delete the ones that are causing the problem. There's Vatsim, and then I work backwards. And this is why I do it in the world map. There we go. Do it in the world map, it tends to break things less. And you can actually see your flight pattern being formed. So TIBGA, LANP was the one before that. There we go. Jesus Christ, this is so crap. Factory. Let's try LANP. Hey. So we should be able to find stew because we've opened the filter. So I'll find it manually. If I add that now, nope. TIBGA. Add. That's gone in. Click. Doesn't like it. Odd. Couple of seconds. Add. No, still doesn't like it because it then rejects LANP. So we'll remove that, and then we'll add LANP. Still doesn't like it. Still doesn't like it. Let's remove TIBGA. There we go. So that's now forced that. And we should be able to add TIBGA. There we go. So very buggy, but that is. I'll scroll out on SimBrief to get the same sort of look. So that's our flight plan. And on SimBrief it looks exactly the same, with all the same waypoints. It takes a bit of work. Scrolling up, we can click generate flight plan. And it's automatically chosen a flight level of 360. But that's too high for what I'd prefer. To set the cruising altitude to automatically be put into the MCDU, we go onto the nav log and we can see all of our waypoints through the plan. And because we're going west, we want an even flight number, and I'd prefer flight level 30. And you can see it update the flight plan there. So we have a short cruise and then our descent into Dublin. On SimBrief as well, we can see our block fuel and our zero fuel weight and our planned takeoff weight. So you want to convert that into pounds because Microsoft Flight Simulator still doesn't give you a proper reading. So 6336 in pounds, 13968. And then we go on to our weight and balance tab. Now fuel, just shy of £10,000 too heavy. On 3. Probably the closest we can get. You could just type it in here, and I like to play with the payload. And that's where you need to look at your centre of gravity here. So it tells you your outer limit. Drop the forward baggage down to a couple of thousand underneath. Drop the increase the economy to say 15, and you can see the centre of gravity raises in. And we want our CG for the MCDU as well here. Change that to pounds there if you want. And then you can see the world map zoomed out. It showed us a lesser radius for the aircraft as well. And then when we hit fly, everything will be in the MCD ready. When you load up vPilot, as we are doing now, you want to add your flight plan. Let's see, so I need to add this extra source. There we go. So our vPilot flight plan, and all we do is we copy that route, this one here, into our flight plan. Flying IFR rules, and our departure airport EGKK, EIDW for our arrival, and our alternative is EINN, and we pop that into our flight plan box here. Departure time is the time you're going to depart. We'll push back off blocks, and that's in Zulu, so it'd be whatever time you're going to fly. And our time en route, which it asks for here, is on SimBrief. So you can see our air time of 58 minutes. So it'll be 0 hours 58. and we've got enough fuel for plus 45 minutes. So fuel available, we do that. Our cruise altitude is going to be 30,000 feet, and if it's your first ever flight, I'll type in there first Vatsim flight or something like that, and then you hit file flight plan. Once you've filed it, you go back into the flight plan tab and then fetch from server. And then it'll pull it for the database. And that's how you do it.